First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby in a carriage. That's the chant many of us sang in our schoolyard days, without ever giving a second thought to the fact that getting the baby in the carriage might prove to be the hardest part. According to the World Health Organisation, 1 in 5 people in Ireland are now experiencing fertility issues. That's thousands of couples every year facing the long and uncertain road of infertility. Ireland's rates for assisted human reproduction has gone up from over 7,500 cycles in 2009 to nearly 9,000 cycles in 2016. But where IVF has failed, where fertility levels are not optimal and where pregnancy just won't happen after years of trying, 4 couples have now decided to go a more natural route to trying for a baby. South East Radio's new monthly series, A Fertile Plan, follows Ciara and Lorcan, Aoife and Ken, Sarah and Connor, and Danielle and Stephen. They will be guided by fertility expert Siobhan Keogh, a Bunclody-based midwife and nurse who has worked in a fertility clinic, but, through traditional Chinese medicine, has learned a new approach to treating infertility, which doesn't involve IVF or complicated invasive medical techniques. She has since helped countless couples to become pregnant by going back to basics, believing that nature is working on everybody's side. While no couple is ever guaranteed to become pregnant, and it doesn't happen in every case, Siobhan offers a new hope where hope has faded. The method is quite simple. It's all about special herbs, a healthy diet, sometimes acupuncture, and helping people to empower themselves. Our couples want a more natural approach to getting pregnant, and so over the next few months they will follow a more simple fertility plan, which won't guarantee a pregnancy, but gives them a new hope on their road to pregnancy.
Most women want to have a baby, and and I suppose from the time like when I was young, that's kind of I always saw myself being married and having children and so on. That's our dream, I suppose, is to be able to have a family.
Ciara is a 36-year-old funeral director married to Lorcan, who's 41. Ciara has irritable bowel syndrome and suffers from sinus problems, which means she's taken antibiotics frequently over the last year. Ciara and Lorcan started trying for a baby 5 years ago.
We were living together and so on, we were trying for a baby and that wasn't working out, so I said I needed another distraction. So I said, okay, I think it's time to get married. So I focused on that for about 10 or 11 months. And as soon as then we got married into June, then in July I went back then. I started back on then the journey then of trying to conceive.
They've been down the route of fertility treatment, but it didn't work for them. Tests didn't highlight particular issues for them.
It's kind of just more, it's just disappointment all the time, It's constantly on your mind. Your whole life focuses around this, it focuses around your cycle, and you're trying to, you can't really plan anything. I suppose the hardest thing is when everyone's constantly asking you, when are you going to have a baby? Or when you're going through the treatment and you're so bloated and you're after putting on nearly 2 stone and people are asking you, are you pregnant? It doesn't help either. Those things can make it very, very hard. I suppose the way I think about it is, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but at least I tried everything in my power.
It's probably something that you take for granted. You think it's just going to happen naturally, it's going to happen straight away. It's probably 5 years now. Ciara's 36, I'm 41, so obviously I feel as if I need to get a move on. Let's put it that way.
Today, Ciara and Lorcan are in Bunclody to meet Siobhan.
Hi Ciara, hi Lorcan. I'm just looking through your notes here, even though it doesn't show any particular reason that fertility isn't happening, and actually in Western medicine they would say 1/3 of all fertility problems are unexplained. I always believe that there's a reason. So the aim today is to get to that exact reason and to simplify it, and then give you herbs and diet and all, to address that. And we should be hopefully seeing changes within the month. One thing that I see is that the periods are very irregular and they're very heavy with clots, yeah?
I wouldn't be a normal 28-day cycle. It could kind of go anything from 28 days up to nearly 37, 38 days. And it'd be extremely painful periods.
Okay, well, what I'd be hoping with the herbs that I'm going to give you is that you should see a significant change by the next period. We'd be aiming that the clots would be definitely reduced with the herbs that I'm going to give you. This dark clotty blood is the blood nourishing the developing eggs, so that the nutrients mightn't be getting to the egg to really have a good healthy egg. The environment for implantation wouldn't be as good. With me, I try and simplify it. It comes back to nature, and it's like a seed in the ground. If you're trying to plant a seed in the ground, and if we're not getting the nutrients to it, if the ground is mucky and marshy and it's coming away, it's not stabilised. So the first aim for this month is to try and stabilise that environment for the embryo and to get as much nourishment as we can to the egg.
She believes that Ciara's IBS and fertility issues are linked and has given a formula to move what she calls the stagnant chi in Ciara's body.
I believe there's two basic emotions we hold in our system, love and fear. And I believe we hold these emotions in our root, in our base. It's the base of who we are. So because it's in our base, that links with the fertility organs. My thing is that the baby doesn't want to carry the blueprint of fear. So it's about transforming our fear. Often it manifests itself in, have I done this, is everything okay? Sometimes for us all, we need to control things, and we think if we have it all controlled, we don't have anything to fear. I actually see this a lot with people coming in. They're so dedicated and they work so hard and they're so given to other people. It tends to manifest itself in, perfectionism and trying to do it all right. Whereas the opposite to that is love. Are we bringing it back to ourselves? When your own cup is full, then being able to help others more.
Siobhan checks Lorcan's tongue and has also advised that he takes herbs and supplements, and for both of them to follow the plan of a nutritionist. The herbs will be boiled in water, and it's the water from this that Ciara and Lorcan will drink daily over the next month.
With your tongue, there's a very thick kind of a yellow coating to the back of your tongue, and to me this would show that the body fluid is a bit thick in the system, and if the body fluid is a little bit thick, then that would manifest that the semen would be a little bit thick.
We'll find out next month how they're getting on.
It's you. Like, that's another thing, like the kind of emphasis is put on me the whole time. There's something wrong with me. And that was horrible, I suppose, burden to have. I mean, Connor's sisters all have children, so for me, in my head, I was going, they must think I'm a total failure, like he just go and meet someone else so he can have a baby. But along the way, we found out it wasn't just me, like, and no one told us that. And not that it matters, like, sure, it takes two to tango and all that, but like, I used to be just like going, it doesn't matter, Connor, let's just break up, like, because I just can't deal anymore. You do, it's on your mind all the time.
Sarah and Connor are together for 3 years. They've been trying for a baby for 2 of those. After a year, when she was 35, Sarah found out that she would have difficulty getting pregnant and was told she had worrying fertility levels and a diminishing egg reserve. They both got tested and have even tried a round of IVF, but it didn't work.
I suppose it's a bit mad because Connor and I are only together 3 years, but we found out early on. Just by chance I went for a test. My little sister actually had a baby, and before that she was told she'd kind of hormones weren't right, so I presumed she's my sister, maybe I should get checked out. So we found out like probably a year into our relationship would have been that I would have problems, like just different like levels, different. I hate saying egg reserve because I know Siobhan goes mad, but that it was bad news, and I didn't understand any of that. Like, I'd never had a clue about anything like this. I mean, I did my talks in school, but they never teach anything like that. And I suppose the way it was told to me wasn't in the best way. It was just a GP rhyming off what was on a page, and I was like, sorry, what? So we kind of had to fast track that then. You know, it wasn't something that we were, oh yeah, we're going to have to like in the future. But then it was kind of like, oh God, we have to think about this now.
The couple say they lost faith in ever having a baby.
I don't think the worst thing about it is because everyone always says like it's really expensive. I think for me it was the emotional side of things, and like our relationship was, thank God we're strong, like, but it does, like, it has such a massive effect on it. And like going into work after getting your scans and your bloods done and like having to just carry on with your day. I don't know how people do it, like, because I know people have done it and I know people do it a few times, but like I used to just be crying going in the loose, like, or coming in after, like, it's just horrible.
Oh, that killed me. It killed me looking at her cry every day, thinking that she's a failure, and I'm like arm around her, hugging her every day, saying it's not your fault, it is what it is, but we'll get it sorted. I didn't think it was me either until I got tested, and then I did when I got told by the doctor that I'm not as strong as I am. I kind of thought failure as well. I thought, what's the difference between me and everyone else?
Ciara was told she had abnormal hormone levels of FSH and AMH, something she found difficult to understand. However, Siobhan takes a different approach.
FSH in Chinese medicine, FSH means your follicle stimulating hormone, and to me that's actually more relevant than the AMH. And in Chinese medicine they say if FSH is high, then your ovaries are under pressure producing follicles, so then the blood level has to be increased to try and get more follicles. Yeah, nature's always on your side, always remember that. Yeah, so your FSH was 27 going into your IVF, I have here. Yeah, really that level should always be below 12 going into an IVF, because your ovaries are already weak. So if, you know, hopefully you'll get pregnant. I can't obviously guarantee anything, but hopefully you will get pregnant, and hopefully you will get pregnant naturally. But if you did need another IVF, which I'm not opposed to, you know, I support people going through IVF. If you did need another IVF, my aim would be we'll increase your AMH and decrease your FSH. With yourself, Conor, too, can I just ask, it's just mentioned here low motility and low morphology with yourself. Is that the case, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so I'm going to give you herbs as well to work with the motility and the morphology, just to try and boost that. So I'll be working with each of you to, you know, to ensure that the embryo is stronger, yeah?
36-year-old Ken is training to be an accountant and married to Aoife, who's 35, a project manager. Ken has a 15-year-old son from a previous relationship. They're together 8 years and they've been married 2 years since June. They've been trying to get pregnant since then.
Quite soon after the wedding, a couple of months after the wedding, I would have been on the contraceptive pill, come off the pill, and now we've been trying for about a year and 3 months. So yeah, since we got married in June, started trying around October time. Probably after like 3 or 4 months, because it's funny, you spend your whole life not wanting to get pregnant, and then when you start to try, it can be like after 1, 2, 3, 4 months, you're like, okay, something's wrong. But usually the doctor would kind of say to you, you know, try for 12 months. So certainly as it was coming up towards 12 months, would have been more concerned. We would have gone to the GP and just got general tests done.
The couple have discussed fertility with their GP, but they haven't looked at IVF just yet.
I prefer trying the natural side of things. I've heard different IVF treatments, and I just prefer going down the natural route. So this was our preferred option to start with, I suppose, and try this for a few months and see how it goes. And then if this doesn't work out, then we'll probably try the IVF route.
Yeah.
They say the monthly disappointment is a lot to handle.
You'd be fed up, like totally fed up, and but you know, you can't say, you just kind of have to keep picking yourself up and go, right, okay, have a little cry, be disappointed, and then that's that, you know, try again.
Yeah, you do notice, like, obviously for the first 6 months, you're not too bothered, you're kind of thinking, this will just take time, and then even after that, and obviously Aoife would be a lot more upset maybe each time, that happens, she gets a period that month, but then, like as the year went on last year, I noticed an awful lot more people getting pregnant, and you kind of taking notice of everyone, getting pregnant like that, and you kind of think that everyone has it so easy, and why is it so difficult for us? But you hear about the good stories very often. You never really hear about people, in our situation maybe that are struggling a little bit.
What would it mean for you then, Aoife, to get pregnant?
Oh, it'd be amazing. Like, yeah, I really want to get pregnant, so I'd be delighted. So being hopeful, and just even for your family and friends and that as well. People don't realise that. I think they put pressure on you with, unnecessarily not meaning to, but I think it'd be great to be able to share that news with people that really would love us to have a baby.
Yeah,
as well.
True, yeah. And Aoife's a very motherly figure anyway, There's only so many cats that we could adopt.
I'm just looking at the semen results here, the motility is just a little bit low, so we'll work with that, and the morphology is 5% normal, which is okay. The minimum it should be is 4%.
As well as acupuncture for all our couples, Siobhan has recommended the herbs, supplements and antioxidants for spleen deficiency and better nutrient absorption for Ken. Interestingly, Aoife's stress levels have shown up today on her tongue.
Aoife, I diagnosed a lot from looking at the tongue, as you know, and what your tongue would show me, I would suspect you're a very organised type of person, like things done right, maybe put a bit of pressure on yourself, have all these kind of balls in the air and you do this, have I everything done right, and very diligent and trust you to get the job done right, but I would think you maybe put a little bit of pressure onto yourself. What do you think, Aoife?
That's spot on. You've hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. I'm a project manager. That's my job. And I've always, since I've been young, been like that, very organised and a worrier and kind of control type of person. So yeah, that's fascinating that you got that from the tongue.
Yeah. You know, maybe we'll, between yourself and myself, try and work on the stress levels with the herbs and some supplements, and, maybe work on affirmations too.
My name's Danielle, I'm 26 and I live in Bridgetown in Wexford, and I work currently in Sofamar in Kilmorkey. I'm a general operative down there.
My name's Stephen, I'm from Bridgetown in Wexford, and I'm 29 and I'm working as a fisherman down in Kilmorkey.
The two of you, Stephen and Danielle, how long have you been together?
6 years.
You have a child already, is that right?
I do. I have a child from a previous partner who is 9 this year. I got pregnant with her when I was quite young. I was 17 and I was 18 when I had her.
So here you are. Yeah. How long have you been trying
5
together?
Years. After a year we just kind of knew like it was right, and we decided to start trying for a baby, and been the same ever since.
How long were you trying when you realised nothing was happening?
It was about, I'd say, because I was on the birth control injection, so they say it can take up to a year to fall pregnant after that for it to come out your system. So I didn't really put too much pressure on it. And after about a year and a half, then I went to the doctor and they decided and suggested doing some investigative tests to see what was going on or if there was a problem or anything. My partner got a semen analysis done and everything kind of came back okay, that maybe they were a little bit slower than average, but not too bad. They did because I had quite a lot of pain down in the lower area, and they did a scan on me and they found that I have cysts on each ovaries, and one of them had burst, and this is what was causing the pain. And they diagnosed me with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and they said that with the cysts on the ovaries would cause problems for me trying to get pregnant.
How did it feel, because you already have a child, and it must have been frustrating at that point to turn now in your 20s and there's a problem?
I think it was more so confusion and disbelief at, how can I have a child with, I was on birth control when I fell pregnant, so how come I be so fertile to fall pregnant on something that I shouldn't fall pregnant on, and then all of a sudden find a difficulty falling pregnant, even though age was with me. I was quite young still, starting to try again for another baby.
It's a confusing situation at first, but I only found out that the problem wasn't her, and then I previously got tested for my semen and it came back alright. But then I got tested again a couple of years later, but I'd have to been on antibiotics previously, and their morphology was 2% at that time, I think. Then I got tested another 3 months later after that, and it came back to be 1%. So I kind of knew then that was a lot of the problem.
Emotionally, there's a lot of stress worrying about that, but obviously, when it comes to that time of the month where there might be a chance you think, oh, maybe I'm late or I'm pregnant, that must be heartbreaking.
It is, it's devastating because your body starts to play tricks on you. If you have a good month and you're like, this is it now, this is our month, and then your body, and I would be quite regular with my time of the month and it's bang on every month, but then there'd be some months where it could be a day or two late and I'm there, oh my god, this is it now, this is finally it, and then it arrives and it's devastating. It's like it's the loss of a person, even though it never was a person. It is the loss of a person that could have been. You mourn for the fact that you didn't have your baby. I don't think we'd ever throw in the towel unless we got too old, kind of. But whether we don't get pregnant or not, there's so many other options out there for us. There's so many kids that are needing homes. If it doesn't happen, we're still going to be parents at the end of the day, whether it's biological or not.
So that's month 1 of South East Radio's fertility plan. Other couples go away with their bags of herbs and supplements, having their acupuncture, knowing that pregnancy is not guaranteed, they will follow the plan set out for them. Join us again next month to find out how they're getting on and if Siobhan's idea of going back to basics will have an effect. Thank you.